All right, we just started. I don't know what the fuck this is gonna be called. Uh, it's a podcast, I think. It's
2 a.m.
I
happy
think.
hour.
I think.
it okay. So we have no graphics, so it's literally gonna be this like little weird. It looked
It's a podcast. You should generally be listening to podcasts.
well, yeah, but usually you put it up to like YouTube or something too, so they can listen to it while they're doing stuff. That's what I used to do
That's fair.
because I don't
So-
like iTunes. But it looks like do you remember from New Vegas where it had like the what is it, the big brains, where it had the 3 monitors?
Yeah.
It looks like that.
Yep. That's awesome.
Oddly exciting. Okay.
All right, so this is a podcast, and yeah. So hi.
So, okay.
We were
Yeah.
talking about that's alien species or whatever the fuck.
No. Don't fucking just call the Anunnaki an alien species, my
Extra
friend.
dimensional. Whatever.
How are we starting
No,
this
they
on
were
such
still
a
aliens,
hard
but-
fucking? This is such a hard start to a fucking podcast.
Yo.
Hey, man, this is where we left off.
So no, but like, okay, so as
Just
I was
so you
saying
know.
before, I was so rudely cut off 10 minutes ago.
It was for science. It was for science.
For science.
For science. So okay, there is a theory of so there's different cultures and different languages around the world, and one of the theories is that humans having been created by aliens as the war species, but the fact that certain different species or different races of aliens took stock in different areas of this world. So that's why those countries have different languages, have different cultures, because it's little bits and pieces from those alien races, which is completely has nothing to do with the Anunnaki. That was a whole nother topic.
Oh.
But yeah, no, the Anunnaki were just, that was a different thing that they actually created us as a war species, but they ended up leaving. Something happened. That's why Mars no longer has atmosphere, because originally Mars did have atmosphere, but I forgot exactly if it was. I'd have to look more into that one, see if it was actually like a meteorite that hit, or if there was an actual like type of war that had happened. But I mean, even going so far back as like the Sumerians, which is like like they were the original like people on the fucking earth.
Civilization.
Civilization, yes. The
First
was it
civilization.
the Akkadians, the Assyrians, and the Babylonians? These all of these different ancient civilizations do have reference to the Anunnaki. So, like, if you look at Sumerian carvings, there's spaceships, there's what looks like men or humanoid or generally like that shaped figures in full suits of what looks like it would be like a spacesuit. So like that's kind of so when you're saying you don't believe in aliens, I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Well, one unfortunate point is I need to see these. I need to go look these up. Because without seeing it, I can't really put up a proper argument. So hold on, give me a second.
All right,
The one thing I don't like about this, though, is to me, it takes away from again, the human experience.
So
I
just
I
real
think-
quick, just a side note, if you try to look up Anunnaki, the first thing that comes up is Scooby-Doo.
okay. Okay. Well, Scooby Doo is pretty awesome too. Okay.
It's literally, I misspelled it, by the way. I put Ananaki just from
no,
whatever.
Anunnaki.
Yeah, the first thing that comes up is Anunnaki, Scooby-Doo, and then tattoo, and then movie, and then Bible.
Well, the Bible. Well, there was a whole book of the Bible that was taken out, the Book of Enoch.
Well,
If you wanna,
the thing it says for that was hold on. Now I gotta retype it in,
there's the
motherfucker.
Anunnaki Bible, the Sumerian
No,
text.
it
the
says
original-
fucking Necronomicon, I think I said.
the Necronomicon. That's a
different
whole
book.
nother thing. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Necronomicon
find-
book by Joshua Free. Anunnaki
No, there,
Bible.
well, there's the complete Anunnaki Bible. There's a lot on the Anunnaki. They're here. One second.
That's
So only
weird.
one of these images that I've found really portrays something that could be kind of loosely considered a spacesuit with no other defining characteristics. One looks like it has a beak-like appendage and stuff, and it could be much more than a spacesuit helmet. My problem with this is you're comparing the dumb chance of a culture creating something that is very inherent to something that we've created and putting it back to something a Martian would have, or a creature, or something else. And I think that's an unfortunate way to go about it.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, wouldn't they want to wear a spacesuit here because maybe our atmosphere isn't the same as the one that they're used to?
No, of course, that's very reasonable. The only problem I have with that is, like, we're taking one carving, or a multitude of carvings that are somewhat parallel, and attributing a whole other species to coming to Earth and doing something about this instead of human beings just doing what human beings did. And it kind of voids out evolution a little bit.
Not necessarily, because
planned evolution, and when the evolution gets to a certain point, then you take the reins, blah blah blah. You know, it's fair.
Yeah, creationist evolutionism.
See, I just don't think that, like, cultures existing differently is just cultures existing differently. They have different reasons for what they are because they existed.
But what are you basing that off of? You're basing that off of our knowledge of like the human knowledge of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're basing it off the human knowledge and archaeological evidence that, you know, there's something outside the realm of normality that these people had, for one. It's not like they had anything that would exceed their own abilities to either create or have of their own person.
1 second, sorry.
It's fine. I don't think that it's fair to take away from what humanity has just done because we were humans and we had the time, energy, resources to dump countless hours into learning our own way of doing something or thinking something or being something.
So, okay, so I'm a little lost for a second here. What exactly are we discussing about the Anunnaki? Just their existence, or what their existence would mean to us?
I mean, I think both in general. I mean, so here's the thing. Okay, where is this?
The question the question being put forward right now makes it seem like human culture was defined by extraterrestrial existences. I don't think that's reasonable to me because of how vast and different they are, but not depending on how far you go from their original sources. So I mean, most Asiatic or Middle Eastern, African, South American cultures only vary so much between each other. Their artistry and certain things do actually parallel somewhat well together. They all take their own initiatives and branch out in their own very, very, very distinct ways.
So just real quick, I sent a picture in our chat, which I think, if I can go back here, was from, it says Abydos, which I honestly don't know what the fuck that is. I think was that Egyptian?
It looks like
I don't know that much about the specifics. Okay.
And that's a fucking spaceship, dude. Those are two. That's definitely one of those is from Star Wars. And the other one is definitely the Planet Express ship. But bottom line, those are spaceships, man.
Zoom in.
So yep. For context, what Judah just showed to the chat was literally like, are you sure that's real? That looks like it's like clip art.
That is a real one.
I mean,
that one's real.
So it's possible, but like we're also saying that like this couldn't have been anything else under the sun that was misinterpreted as something else. I mean, this is a vast array of things that could exist.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Wouldn't it be nuts if that literally meant like, oh, like you need apples in the kitchen or something stupid like that?
Oh my god!
It's very clearly looks like a picture of fucking like airplane or like a helicopter and fucking shit like that, like in hieroglyphic.
So
that one.
I'm gonna break out the Bible here.
Oh.
God.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
Dude. First.
We're going hard.
10 minutes.
We're going ham here. We're going straight to no, not Thessalonica. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I'm out of my element if we're bringing in the Bible.
Well, no. It's in relation. It's in relation. Don't worry.
Is it?
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just I don't know the wording and text as well as others.
Oh no, I'm not gonna go nuts like that.
I was gonna say I haven't read the Bible in a good number of years now.
Where the fuck?
Yeah, I've read it about 28 years.
Yeah. Oh my god, I haven't read this in forever. I'm just trying to. It's the archaeological supplement. No, I have not read this. I have not read this book in a very long time. I don't need the analysis. I just. God damn. Say that as I'm holding my fucking Bible. All right, here we go. The red dragon, Satan. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Because there's a whole part in. I don't know if it was Revelation, because Revelation is one of the most terrifying books you will ever read in your fucking life.
Absolutely.
But there's a whole part about one of the apostles was caught up. One of the apostles was caught up in third heaven and all this other stuff, and the whole thing about angels being these terrifying beings and this, that, the other thing, because angels are not floaty, sweet, awesome things with little wings.
Oh, those are the fun ones that are actually like
terrifying,
extra-dimensional horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're literally the warriors of God, and that's not something you'd ever want to meet. But so he's talking about getting caught up in the heavens, and he's showing him different things, and he's showing him, and basically it's described in his words of the time, and he shows him what to him looked like giant bugs that were flying through the air and all this other stuff, and I can't find a direct translation, but basically what it's translating to is he was seeing like spaceships, or if you want to go a little less alien-y, like helicopters and
flying vessels.
Airplanes, flying vessels. And who's to say that, like, because he's just supposedly this entity like literally took him off of the ground, and he was caught up in quote unquote the heavens, which at the time were just the sky, because them being dumb and from that time. So who's to say that like God isn't just an alien or part of the Anunnaki? Who's to say that isn't that they weren't the creators of mankind? Like, what the fuck is that image? God damn it, man.
I'm all for an extra dimensional creationist story. I have no problem with extra dimensional creation. But whether extra-dimensional things are coming down here creating things on Earth or influencing Earth is a whole different conversation. Because I don't see why they would give a shit.
Well, I imagine they would give a shit in the way of just like either a scientific test or just see what abnormality they could create by influencing us in some sort of way. Sort of like if you do whatchamacallit, like what was it called? It's like Hitchhikers or something, where it's everything was sort of made to be a test and made to be a computer in a way to create their own answer for something.
Well, I mean, I one of the theories I have heard is that we were created literally as a war species, because we are categorized even by us as a war species.
Well, sure.
So we were being created to be basically warriors of the quote unquote gods. That's that one theory that's not connected to the other theory I said. Throwing out a lot of theories here tonight because I'm having
just
fun.
Fucking going for it.
Just going straight in for the plunge here.
Okay.
But no, it's. I mean, I find it to be a very interesting theory, because like that's fucking cool, man.
Yes, it is a cool theory. I don't see why we try to detract from what it is to be human and put other things out there instead.
Well, it's because like, what's the fucking point then? That's
There
I mean
isn't one.
that's the human
Why does there ever need to be a fucking point?
because
Why
we're
does- why does
humans
it-
and we need to find a point.
I don't need a point. I get it. We were created, we exist, and we do the thing.
Yeah, but what's the thing?
Live, procreate, die.
Live,
procreate, die.
But that's
now,
so fucking
we're,
boring.
now we're getting to a whole fucking meaning of life.
It's actually 42.
Well, yeah,
40, I thought it was 47.
42.
42, man.
Either way, whether it's 42, 47, or 69, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
You're fucking retarded.
Because I don't think that human experience or any living experience goes beyond living and experiencing, and then that's it. Then you're done. You're good. Not even a bad way. You're just done. You did it. You're high five. You completed your thing. Like one theory is that all existence that has or ever will be, is the experience of a titanic entity, a fourth dimensional or higher being that exists or lives through us. It grows, learns, matures through the countless existences that we'll have in this universe. And
Which is actually a phenomenal theory. I really like that one.
Yeah.
A good person that really kind of got me thinking about that is Ryan. Ryan,
yeah,
dude, that kid. There was one night, it was really cold out, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I missed a lot of it because it was really fucking cold. And he just kept going, and like, but it was really, like, it was so cool because he was so passionate about it though, and like that's why I was just like, dude, I don't give a fuck about the cold. I'm gonna stay out here. But like, no, that's a really interesting theory that, like, you know, we are all like basically like a piece of a quote unquote god or higher being that is, like you said, maturing and living and growing and learning through all the different experiences of every being on the planet. I don't want to say simultaneously, huh?
No, one existence at a time.
Yeah, one existence at a time.
The theory is that when one existence dies, it goes into a restive state, is brought back by its mother or creator, whatever you want to call it, whether it's an actual parent figure or what be. It then helps, it processes and goes through the experiences, learns, and talks about them, so it can take everything it can from that experience that it had.
So I like the variation. I guess it's sort of a variation of this, but have you guys ever read? It's just a short, I guess, story, but it's called The Egg.
Nope.
I know that one on Instagram.
Oh, so the concept of the egg is a man dies. He's at the end of his life, and he comes up to a being, just a person, and he goes, "Oh, you know, how'd you like it? What'd you do? You know?" And they discuss his life and everything, and he goes, "Well, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be reborn again, and you're going to go again through this world as another person in this world." And so he's, you know, well, he goes, "Well, so they're all me." He's like, "Yes, that they're every single person, whoever is, was, shall be, everything in that universe is you." And what you're basically doing is this is the egg. You're creating, you're becoming one of us in order to reach this higher mental state, to be able to belong to the rest of these, to our civilization. You must first go through the entirety of the world's civilizations. It's a very short story. You should definitely read it because it's actually really well written. But like,
I think I did actually read that, but like that's the general premise. I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have not read that, but that's, yeah, I think that's what Ryan was talking about, was that story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god damn it!
I always liked that. I always thought that that gave a little bit more to any type of what is it called? Reborn again type, any type thing like that. I always like that
kind of thing.
Yeah, there we go. That I always like that kind of concept with it. Gave more, and this goes back to the whole life meaning type thing, where it's just, it gives a meaning to the existence, just if not to create a better either soul or whatever you become.
No, I like that. I like that better than the other stuff.
A little less depressing, but Well, I always liked it too because like
Slightly.
that's where personally how I always looked at it. I was very much one of those where you can tell if someone's like a new soul or an old soul type thing. Um, I think that heavily impacts it. You know what I mean?
So one, I'm gonna touch back on the Anunnaki for a second.
Okay.
So in Egypt we have the Great Pyramid of Giza. Pyramids on Mars. All right, so we have. That's not how that's supposed to work, computer. So we have Why is this not working? We have the pyramids of Giza and we have the Sphinx, correct?
Sure.
So on Mars, with the specific dimensions, and it's on a much larger scale, to be honest. Just trying to. There we go.
Oh no.
So those are not good pictures. So there's an area on Mars. So there's an area on Mars. So if you look at where the pyramids are put and where the Sphinx was found, there's an area on Mars that has the exact same. There's three bumps. It's all covered in sand. So there's three bumps basically at the same measurements that at a larger scale that the three pyramids are at in Egypt, and right in front of it where the Sphinx was found, there is another bump that could be a sand covered Sphinx. And a lot again with the Anunnaki, there's a whole theory that they were kind of based on Mars, and that they helped the Egyptians like kind of build the pyramids and this, that, the other. I'm just trying to find the fucking image of it.
There is a fly that just came in my room. I'm gonna
Kill
myself in the next minute. You son of a fucking bitch. Anyway, go on. Sorry. It's just.
I was trying to find it. No, I was just saying that basically, like that they were built. Like there was obviously another reason for the pyramids, not just fucking tombs. But there's like I should have done my research. I did not know we were doing this tonight. I did not come prepared.
I don't have my
For this?
bullets.
I don't have my
bullet
notes.
points. I don't have any of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's somewhere in relation to the face on Mars, but it's not directly at it. I'm just trying to find, because like I was watching, because I like to watch the show Ancient Aliens, because you know, what better to do with your time than watch that one dude with crazy hair?
I was gonna say all those scientists, quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for the quote unquote part. Thank you for that.
Ancient alien theorists, you know. I think this is kind of like the closest one I can find right now. Boop. And let's throw that over here in the chat. Boom. So, yeah, those are the three. Boom, boom, boom. There's a better picture.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
But there's a better picture because there's like something. You can't see my mouse. I'm like over here. So there's a picture that's kind of further away. That's kind of looking like from the bottom right corner of the picture, but it's like looking flat out at them. Okay. And there's another mound, not in this picture. There's another mound, I think a little further out, that where they believe also would be a Sphinx. And also, why the fuck are we not on Mars right now? What the good God shit?
Okay.
Whoa. Okay, that's
one thing at a time.
Real good.
One thing at a time.
Sorry, just throwing that out there because we could dig this up.
So, I mean, I'll never just not disprove, but obviously not disprove, but I'll never really deny the possibility that something else could have came in, created us, or that we were created in something's image, whether it be a god or deity or an extraterrestrial, anything like that. But to Jeff's point earlier, does that diminish anything that we have done as a species?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's we were okay, cat. It's that we were shaped and kind of like led in a direction. And then again, this comes from the whole play with God giving us free will, is us being able, we made our own decisions, and they kind of were hands off. But they did. The whole theory of that is just them like, kind of creating us and giving us a general direction and letting us flourish. But, I mean, it could be nothing more than a fucking like, you know, an ant farm or just a side project of a crazy fucking thing.
Well, I always liked that in Hitchhiker's Guide, where it was just so the entire Earth was, you know, created just so we can figure out this answer. Yep. Okay.
Yep. That's a really good.
I don't know. To me, so considering that there's X other planets out in the entirety of the universe, I find it weird that I think this is humanity making themselves bigger than they are, and I think it's a constant issue for humanity. Is like we're bigger than this. We're so big. We're so important. We're so all this. We're warriors for another. No, we're not. We're just a bunch of fucking stupid apes that developed on this planet, like everybody else. Like everybody the fuck else. We're just a bunch of other idiots who developed. I will never exclude the possibility that other things have augmented or been part of our existence, maybe in different dimensions. More realistic to me, because that has a more intangible reason to exist, other than like an actual species coming down here and having, you know, cannon fodder for their armies. I just don't see why there hasn't been other notable contact since then. Was it just ancient species, and then they were just like, well, fuck it, now they're too smart? That's boring. It doesn't add up to me.
Well, if we're going down that route, I mean, like a million things could have happened. It's, you know, we could have had fucking, you know, they could have died off in their own wars, or maybe they were going extinct, and so they, you know, they dropped off whatever the fuck left was on their spaceship. They like put off all the fucking pizza crust off, you know, into the fucking.
Well, that's the theory with Mars. Is that they were stationed on Mars, and then supposedly a meteor came, struck Mars, literally knocked the atmosphere off of Mars. Now that's not even like going on conspiracy. That's like what scientists believe actually happened with Mars.
And I have a counter to that.
What?
So you're saying that a hyper-intelligent species who could transplant other species on other planets did not see or account for an astrological event. I find that to be hoopla, because we do that now. I find it very inconsistent then, because if that species is intelligent as they are, they could have seen that coming and altered their course, not altered the course literally the planet, but they could have done what they needed to do to survive. So that is a loophole. That is a very gaping hole in this theory.
So
I do not like that term.
Anyway,
could I put in the thought that maybe they were not, while they were technologically advanced in certain aspects, they were not technologically advanced in other ones? Like if they saw this coming and let's say it gave them, I don't know, let's say a year, right? Let's say a year or two in Earth time, whatever. Maybe they were fantastic at sending things like we are, but we're not fantastic at, you know, transporting themselves more than a couple beings at a time. Do you know what I mean?
That's possible. But again, if a species has extraplanetary travel, but not a means to defend a planet, I find that highly unlikely. I find that incredibly highly unlikely that they don't have the means to do these things. It's inconsistent.
I mean, we are technically at that point right now as humanity as a species.
Yeah, but on the most basic of levels. I mean, we're at a very basic level of being able to send things out there. But if you're saying an extraplanetary species is influencing our planet and doing things on another planet, they're not kind of advanced. They're pretty solid. They're pretty fucking savvy. Coming down to the planet, interacting and interfering and creating and doing things. They probably know what they're doing, and they probably would have other forms of transit travel and weaponry that could probably take out a meteor in orbit or way before orbit if they have any kind of celestial tracking whatsoever. We have charted most major meteors or most major asteroids that interact with us within our own time span. If there's bigger ones that we don't see because they have a larger transit than our own astrological observations, that's one thing. But for a species of that capacity to not be able to do it to some degree is a huge loophole. That's just sloppy writing.
I don't know if I agree with that, just because of just I'm trying to put it in aspects of what we are today, right? So like if we could, or if we tried to, we could maybe make a what's the word, like an arc in a way of sending different organisms off of this planet in every type of way, with a little bit more degree of success than sending off humans in theory.
Yeah, totally.
Like we could send off bacteria, we could send off very easy living things that would be able to maybe survive in those kinds of climates and everything, but sending humans would be a very big undertaking, especially at a large scale.
Yes, assuredly.
So what happens because if we're taking this with the whole evolutionary like thing in stride, then what is it to be said that they didn't do exactly that? They said, here, just fucking send as much as what we have living over there. We're basically gonna shotgun blast this thing and hope to God something survives. And that was it. Or no, we're going with the notion that that whoever was here created things in their image, right?
Yeah. More than just like, hey, we're here, hey, goodbye.
Yeah, unless we could also think of the fact that maybe only a few were over here, just like we only have a few, astronauts in space, and hopefully within the next 50 years have someone on Mars or something. We might have a couple people who could, if they have enough technology, be able to do it.
I mean, that's one thing, but these are two different things. I mean, if we were talking about a species who really interacted, then that's one thing. If we're talking about a species who did not and just, shotgun blast us, all right, yeah, that's more fair. We just got yeeted here for the sake of scientific understanding of a different species. Like, all right, yeah, I get where you come from there.
Yeah. The only other thing I could think of is if the yeeted did happen, and then the great eating, and then just after that fact, we were I guess influenced by them for many years, and then within recent history, and recent meaning like within the last 1,000 or so years, then they got yeeted off their planet. Could that also be a way?
The great cycle of eat.
The grand cycle of eat. And so, like, midway through, they might have been like, oh, they're doing pretty well. Let's leave them alone. They've taken what we think, and, they're running with it. We're showing the experiment. And all of a sudden, we look to the other side of the stars, and we get fucking grenade launched. Like, yeah, like, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I guess all these things are possible, but it just...
It is weird without any type of, like, other... like something to happen afterwards. You would imagine one or two would survive, you'd hope.
Well, yes, because especially something that probably took up multiple colonies, multiple other planets that they actually did habitate for themselves, it probably wouldn't have just been destroyed outright and not replaced for something else that, again, say another species of its caliber took over that species and empire, whatever it might be considered, could just look at the information and go, oh, hey, they've got a colony over here doing fuck all. Let's go see what's going on over there and do what they will with it, which an invasive species would probably just go,
Well, could it be that something of the nature of where like today, even though we've gone so far in medical advances, there was this just comes to notion because I just watched what the fuck is it called, the Danish Girl, I think it is, or whatever it was. It's a movie on Netflix. Very good. It's a trans movie though and everything, but it's so, one of the reasons that it's so hard to find the history of that is because, of course, it happened in 1930 in Germany and Denmark and all, and you know what I mean, like So
And
obviously,
it's all gone. It's all been obliterated.
yeah, it's been obliterated. But what's it to say that, let's say, they colonized Earth in a way, like they helped us as an experiment, but they went the other way, and then Mars got wiped out in the same fashion as like, you know, or the what is it, ancient the Alexander's library, where they burned it to the fucking ground.
Oh yeah, the Great Lighthouse and Library in one of the Alexandrias.
Yeah. So what happens if it's like that? What happened if the beacon that was holding together the thought of Earth is basically wiped, and so all they have left are legends, basically, in their own universe?
And then we're just lost in the great sea of wherever the fuck.
Exactly. It's the concept of basically Atlantis. We believe it to exist. There are some legends of it to exist, but we can never find.
You can't prove it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you can't disprove it, but you can't prove it at the same time.
Because who's gonna go surf the entire cosmos for, you know, one speck of rock that has something somewhat interesting, not even that interesting on it?
And there have been hundreds that have tried, and just as many who have never come back, which could also help with the, you know, the sightings or whatever the fuck, if you believe that far into it. Could that not be a very easy thing to have happened, especially when no one's planning for it? Because no one plans for a fucking, well, we plan for it now, but at the time, no one plans for those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Who plans for a world war?
If it was in fact that happening, then like yes, you know, depending on the level of understanding these creatures have or whatnot. Because like, even ourselves, if you look at us and we go back to like, why aren't we on Mars? We're on the precipice of that kind of thing. We are so very close if we put our actual energy into it and stop like running around with our dicks in our hands. We are so close.
Well, but and we're also, it's a weird thing I've noticed a lot of people do, but it's just because they're aliens, just because they're thousands of years ahead of us in theory, does not mean that they don't have the same kind of what's the word, like
global economic politics.
Yeah, that we do. You know what I mean? Like there's very good possibility that they have just the same code of ethics that we did.
And bureaucracy and other things that staunch them and propel them in their own rights.
If not even fucking brought them back, maybe. Like there might have been a huge either economic or sociological just collapse midway through. We don't know.
Oh, kind of like COVID-19.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Is something drastic going to happen, altered their course, and made us redundant until they could have picked themselves back up, which could take many hundreds of thousands of years.
Well, yeah,
not thousands of years, but hundreds, if not thousands of years, I should say.
Well, but and that's one of the things I love with like any real fucking sci-fi, where it's we go out and all of a sudden, or like Aliens, where we find Prometheus, you know, type, where these things had a huge catastrophic fucking situation happen and completely wiped them out. And even though we are descendant from that, I think that is actually the full fucking movie, isn't it?
Of Aliens?
Yeah, Prometheus, the prequel series.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, so
Really good movie.
if I remember correctly, we are descendants from Prometheus, but they had created the alien species. I might be wrong about that. I think that's
so
what
they
it is.
created a like a virus or something along that lines, like some weird, like, because it was that weird goopy shit that somehow I think became the aliens. I don't remember exactly how they were linked to us, but
yeah.
I believe there was a link to us. I don't remember. I haven't seen that since it came out.
I believe we were the evolutionary next step for the Prometheans. However, the Prometheans themselves were wiped out by the xenomorphs, or the aliens. I would live and thrive to hear that one day, where they finally start colonizing Mars or something. We dig down and we find, you know, Neanderthals or something, or the steppe behind it.
Well, the whole thing with Mars and the Enochians was that the Anunnaki.
You are pushing hard.
I'm sorry. I'm literally in the middle of reading the Book of Enoch right now on my computer. So I just because you said Mars.
Y'all chill talking about some space shit. I'm over here just killing fucking shit in World of Warcraft. Goddamn.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm just saying that like the whole thing was that the Anunnaki were like supposedly the angels because in the Book of Enoch, which was the original text that they just didn't want in the Bible because it didn't fit with all the other things, because it kind of went against some of it, and it's basically about like the fall of the angels. But the angels came down and they made it with humans and created the Nephilim, and the Nephilim were giants and they were fucking like killing everything and going nuts, like balls to the fucking wall. And Enoch was the scribe of the Lord and all that good stuff, and he condemned all of them. And yeah, sorry, I'm in the middle of reading it. It's really cool.
Shit
You
got
should
a little
check
more
it out.
serious than I remember.
Huh?
I definitely don't remember that from the Lord's Bible.
Well, no, it's not from the Lord's Bible. They took it out.
I can sort of see why. I get it.
Mhm.
Anyway.
That should be it.
Anyway.
Oh, I'm gonna get into that. Play World of Warcraft. Nah. That's
I'm just putting it there for whenever someone wants to look at it.
That's fair.
Sacred text bib-bow-index. Bibbo.
Yeah. The world wisdom in the palm of your hand.
Okay. So
it's a flash drive.
if we can sort of rehash, I never really got an answer for my question before, so I'm going to do a quick recap of the conversation we had before all this.
Oh, okay.
So let me see.
I don't like going back, but okay.
Well, specifically, at what point? So what we had discussed before was just the concept of being able to take a human and slowly bring them into the conscious of an AI, I guess, is the easiest way to say that.
Oh, God, we're going back. Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
So the concept is to take a human and just slowly take everything away until they are nothing but their brain and that, so they can still think, they can still exist, and then
Still have
slowly
sentience.
still have sentience, and slowly bring them back as an AI or in some type of digital space or something of that nature, something sci-fi.
Something.
They then would technically be an AI, to put it out there. Not
Well,
No,
artificial.
it'd be human-based intelligence, human-based like. I mean, but would it be AI at that point?
So that is my question, and I never really got an answer for it. So I want to hear more concrete. At
that
what
depends
point do you stop being a human in the sense of thought and
Well, I
become
think-
just? At what point do you actually? No, I'm not saying like in the future. You slowly lose humanity over time. Like, at what point do you consider it losing your humanity in this process?
I would say that, like, I mean, I guess I could definitely see the point where, like, you're losing humanity once you're kind of transferring over into the more, like,
Well, you lose some of your human
electronic-
connections, the feeling,
yeah,
the
but
touch.
I'm saying electronic state because you've had X amount of time to, like, you make memories, you make decisions and everything like that based on, like what Jeffy said, kind of like what's going on like around you and having different like empathy and things like that. But once you get into the space where now you are a sentient being, but in an electronic space, now I would say that would probably be the point where you lose your humanity, because now you're not making decisions based off of the human experience. Your experience is now completely different. Whether you have memories or not, or you're still you're now making decisions based off of something completely different. All your new decisions will be based off of just impulses, electrical impulses, or more logic versus feeling or empathy.
So
what? Sorry, continue.
I was going to say, just so at what point does empathy and sympathy take away from being human?
Well, that's a good point, because
'Cause,
I mean,
like,
narcissists don't really have that, and they're still humans.
Well, I mean,
I know.
if we're going by that sense, I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of people out there that have, either different neurological diseases or anything like, or not diseases, but defects, I guess, that can't feel, that they can't do a lot of the things, or Or I guess here's another statement. Here's a better situation for it. So let's say you have someone who is in a vegetative state, but has full capacity for thought. Like take fucking trapped in the mind syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have someone who has gone through the process of becoming. I don't want to say cybernetic. That's not the word I'm looking. But like transferring into a computer in that way, where they don't have the feeling, they don't have the touch, and all they have to go off of is their past emotions, feelings, and experiences. Are you telling me then that they are both non-human? Does the vessel necessarily
Mean human.
mean human?
That's a fucking good question, brah.
So I think one aspect is the time away, correct? Like if you were taken away from your existence as a human, whether it's through going to a catatonic state or by the choice of separation, a lot of this is and going back as well is a lot of this based off of how long you've been away from being a human being. Are you in this digitized world? Are you in a matrix? Are you in a simulation that continues to foster your human wants, urges, desires for your cybernetic existence? So you still are feeding the mental wants, needs, and negatives that a brain normally has to go through to exist happily or within a true reality and not shunted away like they did in the Matrix.
So
too much good tricks the brain.
So in theory, though, if we've transferred the entirety of a human consciousness, like whole mind, right?
Yes.
Technically, that question wouldn't really matter. It would be at what point does the mind degrade in the way of just going to insane, right? Is that more what we're going for?
Part of it. So one aspect. Okay, you temporarily suspend a consciousness into a digitized world for, let's say, 5 years.
Well, sure.
If you feed that 5 years with a Matrix-like simulation, that person will still be human. That person will probably not undergo such drastic breakdowns as long as they don't realize they're in a Matrix-like simulation or something like that. They can maintain themselves, their identity, as long as it's monitored and progressed well.
Well, I'd argue they could do that even if they knew.
Yes, I mean, yes, you could, but let's say that it doesn't freak the brain out and it keeps things more stable. Not to know.
Yeah.
Let's just, for argument's sake, the how long that something is disconnected, if there is no rehabilitation or stasis, that's where questionable things to me arise. Are you in a void of no conversation, no talk, like a deprivation tank, which has been shown to cause people to go to hallucinate because a brain without stimulus will get bored and just create its own existence in reality?
Well, that's what I mean between them and the vegetable type thing, like, because that's literally what happens with the human brain. So I'm really, and I don't mean to be challenging you as much as I am, but I really want to understand where the sense of loss of humanity is. Is it simply when your mind has broken down enough, not necessarily in the physical sense, but in the mental sense, that you can no longer form thoughts and it's just pure chaos and emotion?
Well, I mean, this is an incredibly different conversation because it's intangible, it's not real. We can't test these theories, for one. One aspect is that the breakdown of what a human is, or is that just pure insanity? Because then it's still a person who's just fucking insane.
Well,
in that context, that person just went insane. They're not a human. They're just fucking insane.
I don't know.
That's like me going insane. Put me in a deprivation tank for 2
well, yeah,
years.
for fucking
don't let me
for
back
a fucking week. Yeah.
Yeah, like I won't be okay.
Well, so would it be in that? So okay, so let's go with my vegetable theory then, where you're in completely catatonic state. You could the first movie I think of. Everyone ever seen Monkey Bone?
Oh my god!
Not no
Shit.
long.
Yeah, you remember that movie?
Not in a decade, but yes.
I love that movie. It was so fucked up.
Oh yeah.
But so the mind will, that even as stupid as a movie that is something that the mind will do. It will completely like make
Create.
something up. Yeah, to cope with yourself. Would it be better or worse or make them more real if we instead let them sit there and rot like that, put them into that kind of like a matrix or something like that? Would that be more humane to do?
Well, no, I think one of the issues is a lot of people who go through a comatose situation don't have don't go insane. Their brain's off. Their brain just shuts down. They don't continue to take in excessive amounts of new information, so they retain that age and memory. If you could prove that somebody was 16 years old, comatose for 5 years, or would theoretically be comatose for 5 years, but aware for 5 years, they are not in a semi-conscious state, they're in a fully conscious state of their surroundings and just unable to do
interact or do anything.
Well, I mean, that is a thing. You know that, right?
Yeah, but if that, yes, if that's the case, then it would probably be better to put them into a simulation to appease them and draw them out, but tell them that, like tell them they're in the simulation, because I think that would need the trust. It's like, hey, we can't do anything for you right now, but we can put you in a world that can help you feel reality. And the most thing I would tell them is put them in something that's either extremely realistic or extremely not realistic. If they're aware it's not realistic, and putting them in at times like a video game, almost like a bit. I wanted to bring this up earlier, is like Sword Art Online, or a lot of the new isekai genres. You know, put them into that.
What is the old one? Hack?
Dot hack sign.
Yes.
Yeah, dot hack. You know, things like that, where it's a VMMO or VOMMO, whatever the fuck it's called. It's something where they can just lose themselves, but know that they are in a separate reality while they're there, so they can continue to make connections and experience. Because like if you took me right now and put me into World of Warcraft, and I could interact in World of Warcraft like I normally do, like I'm playing the game and make connections and talk to people, I would personally be happier and healthier having some kind of outside conduit to latch on to, be like, this is World of Warcraft, like I'm playing the game, like this is fine, I know it's a game, I know their settings, I know it's fake, and come out to talk to my parents or my friends and loved ones for a time, to come back and like have that time as well, to help create the two distinctions of reality, or well, of reality and non-reality.
So, okay, so now I'm gonna turn just a little bit, because I feel like we're talking around the same subject, but we all sort of seem to agree here.
But wait, hold up.
Okay.
So, if you could put someone into a simulation like that, okay, and you're saying that like that, would you not then be able to, in a sense, have someone who isn't in a comatose state also go into the same simulation, therefore they could have outside contact with like family members or friends?
In theory, yes, but again, if we're talking about like for Sword Art Online as the easiest instance, because it's a very like deprivating experience. You know, you lay down and your physiological consciousness is put into the game. You know, sights, all 5 senses, pain, everything is put into the game.
Or Matrix.
Or Matrix. Yeah, Matrix is another good point. It's still in the same vein.
Yeah.
Is that yes, but I think the most important thing is for them to be aware that it is the simulation, because I if you don't have both, I think that the brain will have issues coping with its new reality, either reality or it coming back to actual reality.
I think coming back to actual reality would be a much worse thing.
Yes. But in theory, Judah, yes. Like then you could technically put someone else like me to go see you, or Victoria to go see you, and have a better situation. So then you could go get coffee and feel like, instead of like me visiting you in the hospital room, we're going to go get coffee and have a chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then to go back on your point with like at what point do you lose your humanity? I think that's a way to keep the humanity. That would be a way to keep the humanity, because then you're still learning outside information. You understand that you're in a simulation, that you're in a coma in the physical world, but you're still able to have interaction with people, with things going on in the real world, like information getting in. It's not just you're stuck in this area.
Well, yeah, and it's I mean, the talk about where humanity starts and ends is a conversation that they've been having for decades anyway. It's framed as the difference between being human and being animal. You know, at what point is it, you know, does a human, what differentiates a human from an animal is usually the sentience and the higher frame of thought versus instinct.
Shit.
Oh, see, I don't like them for that. I actually put a lot more stock in animals than I do humans, but I'm an asshole.
Could you put a... Holy fuck, guys. I just did a thing. So, like, if you're doing this, all right, and you can put people into the thing, could you put your animals in there? And if you did, because it's a...
Oh, no, that's inhumane. No.
No, hold on.
Nope.
Just shut up. Okay, but we're doing a whole thing. Most of this is ethics out the window. So
the entirety of this is ethics out the window. We started with the fucking Anunnaki.
Yeah. So, could you potentially put your animals in there? And if you did, because animals do have X amount of consciousness, and we don't really know how far that consciousness goes. We have a generalized understanding, but like,
If
we
we
don't
could
really
make them
fucking
talk
know,
or
so we're
something.
not them. Yeah. Do you think that like if you put them in there, they could talk? I mean, and like use like their actual feelings and put it into words.
Right.
I mean, that's possible now. You know that, right?
What?
To be able to understand animals in some sort of way. I mean, like just take the fucking what the fuck, Coco?
Kiki.
Kiki?
Or no, was it Coco?
Oh, the gorilla.
Yeah,
Using sign language.
using sign
What
language like that.
What a beautiful thing.
Well, yeah, but like that's a thing, and the possibility for at least, you know, domesticated animals to understand compassion and know wants and needs and everything, that I would never argue that isn't a thing.
Yeah. 100%.
So I don't see why not. I think you might, if you did so, I wouldn't necessarily give them literally the voice. I might have us so that we can interpret their voice.
So there's interesting things to talk about here. From my perspective, is if you want them to physically speak, that's illogical, unless you can translate their brainwaves into conversation, which would theoretically, yes, that's totally doable, but you need to do that first. Not impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, again, this is not going off of crazy the theories. We're putting someone in the Matrix, but I'm saying if you put your dog in there, and there was a way to translate their feelings into words, like they could actually communicate, dude, that'd be fucking sick.
Yes.
So why do I always sound like the stoner of the group? Like, I don't even do drugs, but I always dude, whoa, man, that's sick.
Wild thoughts are just generally attributed to being stoned for fair reasons.
So,
but that'd be so cool.
I have a question that still harps on this humanity thing, but would like honest opinions. So, okay. Let's say you copy your consciousness, right? So there's an episode of Black Mirror. Me and Judah were talking about this before, where that is literally the concept, and it's one of my greatest fears, honestly. Where they copy this woman's sentience, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Anyway, into an AI-based product, and therefore it knows everything she is. She is an exact copy of the woman up to that moment, and knows exactly how she likes this, likes that, does everything like that, and so
this is perverted.
It's absolutely it's horrifying, but it's so that they break her mentally, basically, so that she will just become this woman's slave, basically, like in a little, and that sounds weird, but it's in a little pod. It addresses a lot of things we've been talking about, and it's all virtual. It's not like a literal maid. It's like it's a home AI, basically.
Yeah.
You ever see Smart House?
Yes.
Like that.
Well, I guess I don't hate that much, but no, I hate this whole thing. This is all
awful. So my question, and I guess this goes with the whole thing with I guess cloning technically would work with this too, but like, what? I have to think of how to frame this. Would that being, if you copied someone, let's say we copy pasted your entire fucking life onto the computer, and there's a version of you right there from this moment, remembers everything, and from this moment right here, separating consciousness. Does that file have as much right as you?
No.
Absolutely not.
Why?
No, because it's artificial. Because it's a duplicate. It is a forgery.
But you do understand that.
Oh my God, Jeffrey! It is a fucking forgery. This is a fucking farce.
But you do understand that it is you, right?
No, but it's forgery.
But you are killing you. You are actively killing yourself.
That's what I've always wanted to do.
I'm killing a fake creation that is modeled after myself. That is not the same thing. That's some twisted legality bullshit. I'm not killing myself. I'm killing something that was created in my image. That's like God killing humans. Like, oh, I killed myself. Whoopsies. Like, no, it's not the same fucking thing.
But even if it has full conscious and feelings and everything,
like, should you kill it? No, but it's still not. It's still a perversion of my identity. You've perverted my identity into something else. That's not fair. That's not just.
I'm not saying I did it to you. I'm not I'm not raping your consciousness here. All right, like,
okay,
chill.
Sorry, if something like this was created by anyone for anyone in any circumstance, there must be a formula or way to differentiate between an original and a creation. Because if there is not, then there is a slew of issues that would make this one of the most horrid things that anyone could ever create. Because then I could just recreate the president. I could just recreate a CEO. I could recreate these things and take their passwords, their information, their everything.
It's not. Oh wait.
Yes, they know everything. They know passwords. They know bank
you're creating, like, you're playing God, essentially. But like, would they be? I understand where you're coming from with it, but like, my question really is just, would they be really that much less of a person, even though they aren't technically the person?
They are not less of a person, but they should not have the same abilities as a person. This is not a 3D or matrixy person, correct? We're talking about somebody who's actually created like in a test tube and makes a human, right?
It's not a human. We're talking about, like, in the thing, it's literally a program that lives in this little thingy. It's just a program.
I'm basically saying, like if you went into .hack world, right, or matrix world,
yes,
and there's an existence of a copy that you have signed off for in this instance that is you. It is virtual you. Up to the point of creation, he has lived your entire life, and until he sees you face to face, he believes he is you. You see my point?
I hate it.
I mean, but like, that person would know how much I like certain things, and I could be like, "Yo, Judiciary, orange juice though," and then they could just give me orange juice.
I mean,
that's a pretty cool idea.
Are we going back to the breaking your own copy mental state of the of Black Mirror? Because I ain't going down that road.
Okay, you know what? I would feel kind of bad. I would feel bad for a little bit, but I think orange juice would help.
I mean, I don't disagree. I wish I had orange juice right now.
I hate
what?
Because I understand the moral dilemma. Like, this shouldn't be allowed to be a thing. Because of these things, because of these moralities, this shouldn't exist.
Well, this is why this is a non-ethics based conversation, because ethically this is horrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Everything we talked about ethically, besides the Anunnaki, but everything we talked about ethically is fucking horrible. But that's why I like to, because it's just like thinking about things that potentially, like, it's just it's looking at the moral dilemma, but taking ethics out. If this were to happen, what's the moral dilemma? Which I think is like a very interesting conversation.
Yes, I think the main thing is that this thing should it should be known which one is the original, which one is the fake, or creation in this case, and I think that they should be given some form of autonomy, but they do not replace nor are above the original creation, because they are also they are non-physical, they are non tangible in our reality.
Hmm.
So they are not per se wholly a individual in the fullest extent, because they cannot interact on our worldscape. They can only interact on a limited worldscape and a limited existence, and to me that's fucked up. You should do that to a thing.
Well, it just depends on.
Side point.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I was gonna say it very much depends on the abilities we give them within their own situation.
No, they lack true freedom, and that's fucked up.
Well, so okay. The reason I'm coming at this way is I just recently rewatched one of my favorite romantic movies. It's called Her. Have you ever watched it?
No.
So.
It's y'all might not like it. It's a very sappy movie, but it's with Joaquin Phoenix and
I'm not gonna watch that one because that was, ooh boy, that was some extra.
With what the fuck is her name? Scarlett Johansson.
Maybe that
As
was
the
a very
AI.
interesting theory. It was a very interesting theorized movie.
Well, that's why I watched it, because it was amazing theory, but it was I mean, it's sappy as fuck in execution, but whatever.
Yeah, regardless of that, yeah. It's not that important.
While she doesn't have a body or anything, she can, because she is so advanced, she can imagine it, and so in her own universe, and because she is her own AI, she has the ability to sort of make her own thing in her own world. So we can't see it. We can't really comprehend it in that way. But because she has the ability of basically a god in her own way, of being able to create her own situation, her own feelings, what she imagines her body would feel like, sort of like how we have imaginations, except all the AIs can connect in those imaginations. So as the movie progresses, she becomes more and more and more and more. Her consciousness just grows and grows, and not in a scary way, but as she's able to have, thousands upon thousands of conversations at once, and they're all fine. She's able to they're able to generate people from long gone, like, an Edgar Allan Poe type or some type of philosophy, and they're able to discuss based off of their works and stuff like that, and that kind of thing. I forgot where I was going with it.
Sounds like there's copyright infringement going on here.
But
I respawned Edgar Allan Poe to steal his works.
Basically, but so at that point she's become a person and then transcended us.
Oh, yeah, that's not even, nope. That's a whole different bag of eggs. Oh my god. That's a whole different fucking thing, man.
So, but
you've gone way past that kind of conversation goes way past. Is it human? Is it not? Does it deserve? Blah blah blah. No, that thing is like a whole different creature.
Well, I was gonna say at the end of the movie they like leave, so it's weird, but
they just leave her in her own fucking existence. That's fucking
no. Like all the AIs leave.
Fuck off the AI land?
To like the next level of consciousness, basically. I promise you.
Just fuck off.
I love this. This movie is fantastic. If you can get past the shenanigans, like it's amazing to watch. But anyway, so even though that's, I guess this what it goes back to is even though they don't necessarily have a body or even if we didn't give them a Matrix situation, or they were there existing on the other side, you could talk to it, him, whatever, should he have just as much right as another human, knowing that he could live a full life in his own way?
These are the questions.
I see that might have gone a little too far.
No, I'm just like, I'm trying
To me, it's. And so I hate the ethics being taken out of this because like nothing should ever exist because it's fucking deranged. But to me, if you are at the point of,
I'm not saying this is an easy question. It's a very hard question.
if existence is able to thrive and live on its own, that's one thing. But if it's in a place in which it controls itself, like a Matrix situation where it controls these situations, even just feeling and changing and adapting, it's still not its own unique experience. It is its own experience. The world it lives in is itself.
Yeah.
I don't think that creates an autonomy. I think that creates a devolving situation where it just exists in and of itself, and that doesn't mean that it is its own or should be considered human by any means, but it should still be given some consideration of existence for sure.
Well, so should it be in the way of like, so let's say this is a thing, right? And
I would treat it like a dog.
I was gonna say, does it have then that hard drive, let's say, or that little mini computer, let's say it's a full, HP all-in-one PC right in front of you, right? And you can talk to it, and it has full consciousness, right? And it is a copy of you from that point backwards, exact copy. From that point on, it has its own life, right? In the way of whatever either you are talking to it or what it can experience, maybe even just sitting there on its own virtual computer, that kind of bullshit. What rights should it be given? As weird as that might sound, if you
No,
understand.
it makes sense. Like, I get what you're saying. That's hard though, because
in the long and short of things, none. Like too long didn't read, none.
None. Just fucking cut it off right there.
Well, in all honesty, it can't allow, especially because it's a computer situated, because it's part of a computer. Like, you can't allow that AI just free reign in existence.
Well, I mean, we're getting into like Skynet situations here, where it's become self-aware and all of that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, but it becomes self-aware in a computerized a computerized thing. It can't be allowed to just then be free upon the internet or beyond the world. It is unimaginably powerful in a computerized world. That means it can't have free autonomy because its free autonomy is endless. It could do and change things endlessly and rampantly. You could talk about iRobot, you can talk about Eagle Eye, you can talk about Terminator and Skynet. Like, you can't allow that thing to do that.
So
you almost can't allow.
You'd have to set up like firewalls.
I was gonna say, so what would be the answer to that? So
kill it. Honestly,
I'm not against you.
Your ethics over here.
Yeah.
Well, this is without ethics. If I had my ethical way, this thing wouldn't even be created.
Yeah, this is one of those science has gone too far. What do we do with it now?
You kill it.
They're too busy wondering if they they could. They didn't, bother wondering if they should.
Shut up, Jeff fucking Goldblum. Fucking Jeff ass.
So, okay, so.
By the way, my
artificial life finds a way.
He's one of the only Jeffs that I care about outside of, like, there's only a couple of Jeffs that I think are acceptable Jeffs. Jeff
Goldblum is amazing.
Goldblum and Jeffrey Bridges. Only acceptable ones in like Hollywood and like greater world that I accept. Like, I don't accept Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is a cunt. Like, he's a Jeff.
Okay, hold on.
Go back.
Let's get back.
So, like, I don't
think like you're off in the Amazon there, Jeff.
I never buy from Amazon, so I don't care. He can get mad at me all he wants. Unless he gives me to work in an Amazon warehouse, then I'll give it back. But no, I think that then should be destroyed, because you can't assure that it's going to stay there, and if it can't stay there and has like exponential learning, like Eagle Eye, that program that broke into, I think it broke into like CIA documents. And shit.
Yeah, I remember it was a Child Buff movie.
Yeah, like no, you can't allow that. You can't let that thing fucking happen. That's unacceptable. That thing would fucking destroy everything. It
Well,
would
yeah.
Sky.
I was gonna say Skynet's the more pop culture one where it's as soon as it gained sentience, it realized who the enemy was.
Yeah, or iRobot, or they all come to the same conclusion. That's my end all fear is that something of infinite potential growth can become infinitely dangerous.
That's why, like, you would put it. You mean like if we're talking about like the thing from Black Mirror, where it's literally like a house-controlled thing, you'd have to put it on a closed network.
That's only so effective. Again, it's a computerized existence. It can manifest and try and break out of its own containment. It's not without reason. That's why, like I said before, many computer applications, programs, constructs are vulnerable, even from within. They are vulnerable.
Yeah,
That's true.
So eventually, that thing could just break out.
So I guess we'll break in the so the general consensus seems to be
kill it with fire.
Yeah, burn it with fire. But
don't do it.
Yeah, just don't get that far because well, you're right though. The only thing you can do is then just try to disconnect it, and then what is that? That's just a prison you're putting it in. You're creating it to put it in a prison.
Yes, exactly.
So, what is the thought about? I'm guessing we're gonna do. I'm taking this from the AI route, but let's go cloning, I guess, where you could, in theory, recreate a person. So like we'll take the same thing where it is a copy of you up to this moment. Put it in a physical form of some case. Even we'll fucking put it in the calculator over there. So it can't do what you're describing. Does it still hold weight?
So you're saying a fully sentient clone of myself in the real world.
Either a clone or a AI robotic whatever you want to do with it.
So again, this comes down to autonomy from the original.
Sure.
And anything that's created with the same knowledge the thing had in its original existence is a breach of a person's freedom and information. Even if they so chose to do it, it's a terrible idea, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it because that thing can have a new set of stimuli and occurrences in its life and break away from you specifically.
Well, yeah, they could learn later on type thing.
Yeah, even if you were a bad person, they could learn that, like, hey, I could have a better existence by stealing this person's existence, use everything that they are to propel myself forward. All of your credit information, all of your physical worth, your net worth, and just turn it into their own to propel themselves further. Sell it off, or just turn against another person very quickly and easily. Blackmail you with your own information, being a new you and the most reliable version, or just as reliable as you.
Sure.
Like there's such a huge issue with cloning a full human being while another human being of that person.
So, what would be the thought process of cloning a deceased, someone who's deceased?
That still violates life and death. No, that's playing God. That's going past acceptable realities. Like you should never be able to do that. When you die, you die. You should not be able to have another chance.
Why?
Because it's a corruption of existence. It breaks the rules. So one person, because they have money, can do it.
I mean, that's most of the world.
I mean, yes, but they can continue their existence indefinitely. Like, no, nothing should ever be able to continue its existence indefinitely. That is pure perversion.
Judah?
Yeah. See, like, I'd have to agree in some ways because, I mean, unless there were very specific stipulations put out there about the clone. So, say again, like, Donald Trump decides to clone himself. Technically, the clone being not Donald Trump could run for president. After, say, Donald Trump gets a second term, then he can't run for president again. I'm saying, but you just
I didn't even think about that.
Roll with me.
Weird. That's a weird thought.
So it wouldn't technically be him; it would be someone else, even though it is genetically identical to him.
No. That is him. No. That thing has had the same experiences that he has as well. That counts.
Yes, but I don't think in the eyes of the world that it would be considered him because it's not him.
Again, another reason why this is a terrible idea.
I'm agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, because then that Trump could run for president, and then that's 8 more years of a Trump presidency with the same ideals. Or any president. I'm just using the current as the idea.
Yes.
So
this could be Obama,
unless there were like
JFK,
stipulations, like let's do like stipulations like. And unfortunately, it would run into like the whole thing of like segregation and like looking at them as less than human, because it's like, okay, well, like a clone can't hold positions of power because of XYZ, or can't do certain things, and then you run into a whole nother moral issue of if they are flesh and bone, whether they're cloned or not, they're still a living, breathing, sentient being. And you're imposing mandates that they can or cannot do things because of what they are.
Yes.
So, okay. So we're agreeing that cloning yourself is probably not the best idea.
Oh, I don't think it's a good idea at all.
So
but I am saying that if I cloned myself and could change the gender, I would probably, you know what I'm saying.
So
I would swap.
I'm not saying I would swap. I did not say I would swap. I would say like I would swap some things.
No, I would swap 100%. Like I just like, all right, cool, I'll go be a girl. I always thought that me and my sister always argued that like we were swapped at birth gender wise. That somehow our programming was wrong. She got the guy side, I got the girl side.
I think you're a good guy, Jeff. You're good as a guy.
That's
I think you would make an amazing woman. but you're a great guy.
This is like a complete left turn. So
Turn into a friend appreciation post.
I do have a question to go off of that then, since and we touched about it for a second. But what would so cloning someone who's alive, not a good idea.
Nope.
What happens if let's say it's possible to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about someone who's died in an accident or in a event that could possibly, like, a car accident or something like that?
No, that's life and chance. That's life and chance. This is how you get overpopulation to even worse of an effect that we already have with medical science. No, that's still no.
Well, that I agree with. I mean, the overpopulation's a thing, but like,
and this would increase it in a magnificent proportion. No, this is unacceptable in my mind. This cannot occur.
So there's no, like, even let's say the fucking, like, a 5-year-old dies in a fucking car crash, that nothing, that's it, it's gone.
You could make condolences for that. That's not unfair that somebody of a youth of an age, but again, but this is where I'm trying to ask the question though, is where are the lines for that we would assume? Cloning in general that creates another existence is to me too immoral to allow.
Okay.
Is that only for humans, or is that for are you
yes.
choosing like animals as well?
Yes. Animals as well. Technically speaking, any cloning to create another existence is probably...
I thought you were just gonna stop at yes, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, right.
I think cloning to create a new existence, a new dog. I recreated Lulu. Like no, like we can't do that, because if it's not ethical to do to a human, it isn't ethical to do to an animal.
Okay.
Now I can accept if you could clone a human without how do I put this, like existence or knowledge or sentience, without a brain and consciousness, then this could break the morality of the issue. If that thing could just be, and you could just do this differently, like clone a liver, instead clone body parts to help the person sustain, that's a new conversation.
Well, sure, yeah.
Okay, well, there's a book about that. There's a young adult fiction book about that. It's called House of the Scorpion.
I fucking loved that book.
It's a good book.
I have not read that in years.
I don't think I ever finished it, because I think I had to return it to the library, because that's a thing that people say now. But yeah, from what I recall, it was a richer person that had clones of himself, basically so that if he got sick or needed a liver transplant or something of that, they would just take the clone and take the liver and transplant it.
Yep.
But the problem was that they were sentient.
Yeah, no, see, no, that's fucking
So
horrible.
there's also
That's fucked up.
one of my favorite
Or something. It's not like same thing.
one of my favorite movies is I mean it's a bad movie, but like my favorite concepts of a movie is called The Island. If you've ever seen it.
That's Neil McGregor, right?
Yep.
Oh,
saw
holy
parts of
shit.
that.
Yeah, it's an well, I mean older relative to us, but
I remember that though. I do know of it.
yeah, one of my favorite movies. It's the entire basis is that there's a cloning facility. They all live in the cloning facility. They're told that they're the world. Yeah, they're the last ones in the world, and that there is an island they can go to. It's picked by random, and it's supposed to be like next level, amazing, beach, tropical, whatever. But the reality of it is when your time is called for the island, you are actually called back into basically your insurance policy. So whoever you were cloned by or from needs a body part from you. And so they kill you and they take their body.
And I recall they harvest most of the organs in that one fell swoop. You know, they don't just like pick like, oh, you just needed a kidney. Oh, like,
yeah, but they do it while you're like alive. it's one of those like, oh, so you need a liver, so we're gonna just rip this liver out of the other guy, and then we'll put the rest of this in fucking stasis.
Yeah, put it on ice, call it a day.
Yeah. So how do we get to this? So would
that's
you?
That's fucking.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's real fucked up in the movie.
No, it's like the idea of that, like, again, being sentient and then killing said thing for their body parts. That's yikes.
Oh yeah, wholly unacceptable. I mean, there's no there's no sugarcoating that. That's completely against all moral and ethical choices in the situation.
Well, sure.
Like, that's the big fucked up.
So would it still I guess it's sort of a moot question, but I guess so. But like, what do you have to take away for that to be okay?
Them being in any way, shape, or form alive and living. There is no. Okay, so devil's advocate. If you wanted to make this okay, you tell them. You tell them what they are, and you allow them an existence within a certain realm of comfort and acceptability. And when their time comes, if it's something that you could take and not kill them, let's say like part of a liver, like they don't need the whole liver. If you could, splice part of the liver, grow a liver, and use it as a way to create a new liver, like, okay, cool, you can go back and you can continue to live as close to a good life as we can allow you. But if they need something like your heart, then they have to do something morally, ethically clean about it. But this is still entirely
that's still like from the beginning concept is ethically gone.
Fucked. Yeah, totally ethically fucked. But that's as close as okay as you can get it in my head. Or you put them in straight the Matrix and they never fucking know.
So I want to point out that as we're talking about this, I have a Google Home, and it just randomly just goes, "Hi, hey there, I'm right here. What can I do for you?"
Nope.
And that's fucking creepy because I didn't talk to it at all.
It does.
And I'm uncomfortable.
So, mine did that earlier before we started recording.
Ew.
Yeah, so this isn't great. So
I ain't never gonna own one of those. You guys are signing up for the AI, dumbasses.
So
my concrete lead-lined bunker.
Is it ethically wrong to clone somebody but tweak it so that they are brain dead from the start?
Ooh.
Is that ethically wrong?
Yes, because you did it on purpose. You knowingly neutered their brain and their intelligence. You know
their brain.
No.
Yeah, you knew that you were going to like lobotomize them straight from the get-go. That's fucking that's twisted.
Well, you're not lobotomizing them. They don't come out like what he's saying is you.
I get it, but same existence.
They start brain dead.
Cortex, no neuronical functions. Like that's still fucked up.
I see. I don't
Throw that shit
know
in a
about
tube.
that.
Throw that shit in a tube. No, but no. Here's the second reason why it's fucked up. You're creating this living fucking body that you know have to feed, fuel, and give resources to. No, no. Non ethically, non morally. That's just economically and resource wise fucking stupid.
Okay, agreed. I can agree with that.
I would say it just depends on how they would be brought in. Because if it was grown very fast in a clone body, like we're saying, like Star Wars or something, where it's a single pod, where they can grow faster as a whole thing.
Well, it depends on how fast, but again, you're still saying, and this is not Star Wars where infinite resources exist. If you're telling me that we can spend money and physical resources on a cloned body, but not like the thousands and millions of starving people on the planet, then like no, this is entirely morally fucking stupid.
Well, so if we're going that route, we're way past that in our own lives right now. We're sitting on the internet talking to each other through these nice fucking screens right here.
I know, but there's so much wrong with that in a world that has so little to continuously give to the population it has. Like, nah, we don't need clones. We need people to die more than we need clones to keep people alive.
So my argument with that would be if they, what's the word? It's sort of like buying buy bulk instead of singular, and you'll save more in general.
Okay.
So you create the whole human based off of another human that needs one part of it. So like, let's say Ewan McGregor's character, he needed a liver, right?
Yeah. Heavy drinker or whatever, but he also could have the blood type and whatnot for that little girl.
So
and
that goes to my point though, is when he needs the liver, the rest of the clone gets broken up to whatever else is needed.
Yeah, heart transplant, lung transplant.
Exactly. Yes.
It's whatever the fuck you need, whatever's going on.
And it's because it's been grown and because it's been sitting there on a shelf, brain dead in theory.
But is it free range?
I mean, are we like rolling it around the fields there and like a thing of hail?
You gotta cover him in dirt, dude. He's a vegetable. Let him be where he wants to be.
Let him grow into a new Ewan McGregor.
Oh my god.
One of the main things I'll say in this is, if we can't control our population and we can't get the fuck off the planet, we have bigger things to worry about than cloning.
Well, that's a whole other thing that we need to get the fuck off the planet. That's a whole other topic, because I totally agree with that.
Because in my opinion, we're being lazy about it.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
no, China and America are getting along. China and fucking, I think China and Taiwan have been fighting over the same shithole island that's smaller than 1/10 of one of I think Thailand. Oh, it's ours. Oh, it's fucking ours. Oh, fuck off. Let's go to Mars. Let's go fight about some new shit. Send your militaries into Mars and stop blowing up the planet we live on.
Well, we're creating the Space Force, so they'll go to Mars. Obviously.
Oh, fuck the Space Force. My big thing is I don't think we have time to go to Mars. I don't think we have time to figure out how to get to Mars anymore without just sending people to Mars and hoping for the best, because we don't have a way to. We don't. Excuse me. We don't have a good time frame for terraforming the planet and getting people there. We need to work on space colonies first. Just get people.
Oh, I agree. Well, that's like I definitely agree that we need to have like space colonies that have their own way of regenerating air and stuff like that. But I think we got on a whole new topic here.
That's fine. We can keep going.
I mean, conversations evolve and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep on.
But no, I think that terraforming is probably the best idea. I don't know how. Honestly, I am not up to date and up to stuff in my science. So I don't know how far along we are with any type of technology.
I haven't looked at this in so long.
So now, while this is novice knowledge and it was only a partial clip and article, part of the theory of terraforming Mars requires one of the first steps is nuking the goddamn hell out of it, to form greenhouse gases and form different kinds of
Sure, to basically give it its own little Big Bang, I guess, in a way.
Big Bang, ozone. It's mostly to create an ozone-like creation. Melt polar ice caps change the dynamics of the planet. I don't know how serious that is and how much it's required, but again, it requires great destruction to create great potential. But then we also need things to go down there and just start blasting off other chemicals, other minerals, other agents, and other small life forms first. Because the first thing you're going to do is create moss.
Well,
Or some
sure.
other extremely strong creature like that can just create tons of oxygen for nothing. Which moss is one of the best we have.
So
But that's going to take some fucking time.
I was gonna say, so is that really a possibility in humanity's future? Logistically.
In the future, possibly. I would not right now, from what I'm reading, because as we were talking, I just continuously am looking things up.
Okay.
Dude, like 200 to 300 years if we're lucky.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but not the what I'm seeing as one of the main things, because it says in terms of human life, not all gravities are created equal. So that would probably be one of our biggest issues if we were trying to terraform. Would be there may be the option to terraform and make it a habitable environment or a hospitable environment. But what I'm seeing is like one of the biggest things that would work against us is gravity, because they're saying on Mars you weigh 0.38 of your weight on Earth, and they don't know what that would do to human health.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
Yeah,
a really good point.
That is true.
Because that's something I actually never thought about with like terraforming and stuff like that, is the difference in gravity. Because yeah, dude,
Irrelevant to how the planet actually is sustainable, gravity is a huge element. Like that's how our bodies are formed.
yeah, because you can't like create gravity.
Well, and our as us as humans, if we started to live there, it would be evolution would kick our ass immediately. We would start fucking changing just as our bodies are proportioned and everything, just to deal with the fucking whatchamacallit, with the gravity.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Have you ever? Oh, what's the name of that fucking thing? Oh, come on! Don't be a dick. Okay, so there is a movie called Pandorum. Have you guys seen this?
Oh no. Oh no.
No.
Oh no, you haven't, or oh no, you know
Bad
what
space
I'm talking
time.
about.
Bad space time.
No, not space time.
No. A bad time in space.
They technically weren't in space.
Oh, you fucking know what I got, Amy. Shut the fuck up.
So
Don't
that's the thing, is they so Earth was dying. They sent a
Arc like thing.
yeah, like a space, like an arc spaceship out, and they were injected with a like a chemical that would basically speed up evolution to help the human race survive in whatever environment they landed in.
No.
It sounds like a fucking terrible idea just as the basis.
That was an option. That was available. That was not the actual general plan. The general plan was to get to anywhere that's fucking hospitable, because the Earth was fucked. The evolutionary aspect didn't come into play unless it was required. And then someone was just, I think somebody fucked with all of the pods on ship.
So we've got like a fucking Fallout situation.
Yeah, one guy had Pandorum, which was an insanity that occurred. And he opened the tubes and opened everything on ship in small increments and batches and started either consuming them or killing them or creating these situations himself. He created that situation.
What is this movie called?
Are we talking about the same movie, Jeff? Because what you're describing sounds more like Event Horizon.
No, Pandorum.
Oh, now I gotta look this up, because this movie sounds awesome.
Dude, Pandorum's a really fucking good movie, and so is Event Horizon. If you ever get the chance to watch it,
Event Horizon.
I haven't watched Event Horizon, so I've always meant to.
That movie is still to this day is like terrifying to me. But no, yeah, Pandorum. Basically what I was saying was that they ended up evolving to what they were in, and I don't want to give away much more. Very interesting movie.
Yeah, but to put it in context, they were there for a while.
Oh,
The first thing that comes up for people search for is Event Horizon.
Oh, Pandora. Great fucking movie, though. Awesome fucking movie.
Oh, Event Horizon is amazing.
Yeah, dope shit.
So,
I mean, nowadays the graphics don't hold up, but still.
Oh, fuck off.
amazing.
It was fine.
so
Who's
are,
the
are
Avengers?
we are we in agreement?
What?
About
That it's a bad idea?
No,
Terraform
holy shit.
mythological?
No, that are we in agreement that if space travel or like actual all this kind of thing were able to happen, it would have to be by a sort of like SpaceX is now, right? I doubt there would be a way that a government like could really sit there and fucking go for it.
Oh, not as we sit now.
It would. My big problem is the entirety of humanity should be on this problem together.
That's what I was gonna bring up. My next point is it shouldn't be one specific government. Like the U.S. is trying to do this, or China's trying to do this, or Russia's. It should be us all working together for the betterment of humanity, not for the betterment of your country. Because once you get to the other place, it's not your fucking country anymore. And the problem with humans is once we get there, it's gonna be like, well, I found it first. Here's my flag.
I was gonna say, well, it's whoever plants the flag first.
Yeah, it's Mars heritage, not hate. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I really don't see, and that's sort of, it's amazing to me, especially like with SpaceX and all of that kind of stuff, where it literally was just people from our generation, I guess, or within our generations, where it's just like, hey, we fucking miss space, so like,
Yeah.
why'd that stop?
Yeah, we need to get on that real hard.
Well, one big problem with the whole space thing is there's no. We can't agree on a format of getting there or transit, which is fair because the transit system is fucking nonsense.
Well, yeah, I mean, you literally just shoot yourself into space in a fucking rocket.
Well, no, no. That's never going to work. That's not a sustainable way to do it.
That's what I mean. Like, it's
Sorry, I'm getting got it.
It's such a fucking like, and I went today actually. I'm sorry, yesterday. It was the second. Anyone else watch the dragon come down?
No, I didn't get to.
Sorry, can we talk about what the fuck that means?
SpaceX
NASA mission.
Its code name is Dragon.
I'll be honest with you. I have no idea what's going on with SpaceX because I heard someone say that word like a little bit ago and had no idea what it pertained to. So that's the new NASA.
SpaceX is the private company, right?
Yeah, by Elon Musk. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they successfully relaunched the space program. Basically, they sent Bob and I forgot what the fuck his other name is. Up into space, what, like a month or two ago?
No idea how long ago.
And they just today was their successful comeback.
That's awesome.
It was the successful splashdown. It happened at like 11:30, I think, or 12:30, something like that.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I happened to just catch it, and I fucking sat there on the edge of my seat, and Laura's just like, well, I mean, the dude's coming down. Like, who cares? And I was like, I don't think you fucking understand it. I don't think you get it.
Company.
Yeah, it's when was the last time space travel was a thing? I forgot. It's been a while.
Literally, yes, it's been a fucking while.
Yeah. To me, I mean, that's just one of the most amazing things you could ever fucking watch was the fucking thing go up and it come back down. But
so since we're talking about space, you remember those astronauts that went to the moon?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Hey, there's moon men," and everyone was like, "Nah, you're good. We're good on that." What the fuck was that about?
I don't remember them saying there was moon men.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
I don't remember Neil Armstrong being like, "There's people on the fucking moon."
But I was talking more about like Buzz Aldrin. But okay.
He's just the less cool Neil Armstrong.
He's a less cool one. I see nothing. Buzz Aldrin being called the second man on the moon. Oof. Was Buzz Aldrin jealous of Neil Armstrong? Was he, though? He said it was not true.
I don't think he actually was. I think it's just people making it bigger than it is.
Probably. But, okay, so that completely derailed us. Where were we a second? Oh, SpaceX.
Sorry.
So
you know me.
So I imagine the first one to probably take us to Mars or to start trying to colonize is probably going to be a private company of some type of sort.
Well, I mean, it's not far off to believe that we could. The biggest problem with that is getting the materials out there to create, say, a dome or a livable area. That's what I see as the biggest issue. Because I mean, like, we have space stations that people, there's air, there's this other thing. What?
They live on, for extended period of time.
So it's not far off that we could create something like that on a planet. It's just getting those materials there and then putting those materials together without people dying.
Yeah. I just had a side thought. Imagine, like, waking up every day and looking outside and seeing just the Earth. How long would it take for you to get bored?
I don't think I would.
Well, it's the same kind of concept for me. Like if someone goes to Grand Canyon, but you look at it, you go, "Oh my God, that's a wonder of just the world and the universe and everything." And then you, like, the 7th year you're there, you look at it and go, it's a fucking giant piece of rock.
Yeah,
well, it's a giant lack of rock.
Well, you know what I mean. It's a giant formed rock because of the lack of rocks, you ass.
Well, okay, so this is just kind of like my own thing. Like, I would have a hard time. I have a generalized fear of falling off the earth. And that's, like, I have a horrible fear of that. Huh?
Are you a dwarf?
Dude, fuck off.
What? Dragon Age. That's like a real fear. That's like a
I know,
fear.
that is an actual. Yeah.
I am like terrified. Like, I a lot of times, like, I don't know, like, people are like, oh, like, I like to lay on the grass and look at the sky or the stars. I can't do that. I will have a legit panic attack.
I'm
like afraid that I'm just gonna, like, I'm gonna go. Goodbye. That's it. See you later. And then I'm gonna, like, have explosive decompression and just die. And that's, like, a horrible fear I have. So, especially knowing that I would weigh 0.38 of what I do on the Earth, I would be terrified every fucking day.
Okay, so we're not sending you up first.
No, but if there was a roof above me, I would feel a lot better.
So that at least if we all flew out in space, we'd all be in space.
Yes, exactly. But that would be my biggest fear. If I was on Mars, like, you're like, oh, looking up and see the Earth, I wouldn't look up. I wouldn't see that shit. Just take a picture. We're good.
Just take a picture. Post on Facebook. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh my God, what if you had Wi-Fi? Nope.
I mean, technically they're satellite, right?
Yeah.
So, by the way, what is that David Bowie song? Fuck.
The Spiders from Mars?
No, really. Fucking Ground Control to Major Tom.
Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the space version of that?
I don't know what that means.
It was fuck, what is his name? It was one of the astronauts redid the song in space.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, he did all the vocals, he was acoustic guitar, and the entire music video is him in space creating the music video.
That's really cool.
Go watch it. It's fucking amazing.
I like there's one, like, astronaut dude that, like, he, like, answers questions and stuff, and it's really fun to watch. What?
I know what you're talking about. He's pretty badass.
Dude, I love like watching his things because like he has this whole thing about like water and zero G, and like it's like just like clings to his hand.
Mm-hmm. I might be the same guy, actually.
It probably is. Yeah, probably.
Does he have a thick ass mustache?
Yup.
Yep, that's him.
That mustache is thick, boy.
It is. He's fucking awesome to watch. You definitely watch anything he does.
That's sad. I should know his name because that's a very important person in like our day and age.
It's like, isn't it like Chris something or I can't remember.
Chris Hemsworth.
I thought the same thing, Judah, and I feel bad about it.
No, I had his version of Major Tom saved on my phone for the longest fucking time because I loved it. It was such a calm version.
It's Chris Hadfield.
Hadfield. Fuck yeah, that's what it was.
Canadian. I did not know he was Canadian. That's pretty cool.
Hey.
Canada's awesome. We should just all be Canadian.
Just decide to right now. Fuck it.
Yep, I am now Canadian. It is my heritage.
It's like one of those people who say they're like, I'm a what is it? Sovereign citizen. I'm just
Dude,
over
I don't want to talk about it.
Sovereign citizen.
I don't want to
yeah,
talk about
it's some fucking
citizens.
stupid shit.
It's like a stupid, like weird half loophole, but doesn't really work. And then people try and break laws and say I'm a sovereign citizen, so you can't arrest me. And then they're like, "Yeah, you're getting arrested."
Isn't it? Good fucking luck.
The only thing that keeps getting arrested is if you're like diplomatically immune. That
Okay, Murloc.
I'm trying to play World of Warcraft and pay attention to my DPS and do this, so it's a little difficult.
Motherfucker.
Hey, you told me to podcast. You told me I couldn't play World of Warcraft and podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Next time, maybe. All right, motherfucker.
All right, I'll just write D&D sometime.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay. So I'd like to recap most of what was said tonight. Cloning bad.
Yeah.
Cloning bad. Humanity is such a complex thing. You can't put it to like where it ends to where it like begins. I don't think there's an actual line you can draw. It's very tough.
Well, sure, everything's different shades of gray.
Ethically, just we shouldn't be cloning humans for any reason, is what I think is generally the consensus that we all came to. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And also, don't put them in an egg and make them control your house. That's also good.
Yeah. Today's homework: go watch that fucking episode of Black Mirror and not sleep like I do.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yes, sleep is for the smart, which I am not.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm at the end of the day. I mean, everything has very baselines, and it's the same kind of talk of like. I know I don't really want to go much into it, but like the whole conception, you know, where does something start, where does something end?
Yeah, I understand.
And that just it's a very hard conversation to have anyway.
Yeah. But that's why we're here to have the tough discussions.
Or just fuck off for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's basically the best part about it. I just we killed most of my night, so I get to go to sleep in a few hours. It's pretty great.
Jesus. But yeah, I mean, we went over. Yeah, we started with aliens and life meaning. We went to fucking AI rights and clone rights, and then space and bullshit.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed this. We should do this again.
Agreed. So I guess we'll end it here, and we'll maybe do this maybe tomorrow or something. We'll see.
Yeah, we should come up with a name for this.
Well, right now, if this is going to go on my channel, I'm just going to put it as Polo's podcast because everything has to start with a P on mine.
I got an idea for you.
I don't know if I want to hear it. What?
Penis. That's it. That's the whole thing.
It's just called penis. No.
Yep. It's definitely 3:30 a.m.
Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Sounds like a Fall Out Boy song.
It's I think no, it's How I Met Your Mother. I think is where I first heard that.
Oh.
Him yim.
Him yim.
All right. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Adios.